Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to thank you for joining me in this concept-based curriculum instruction demo lesson. Tell me, in what ways do you think people's lives nowadays differ from the ancient years? Just a kind of brainstorm. Yes.
More technology nowadays.
More technology. Technology.
Can we say progress?
Change. Okay.
Progress. Can we say progress?
Progress.
And also faster pace for everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Progress.
Have the virtual life.
Virtual life versus what?
Real life.
Real life.
Real life.
Virtual life versus real life. Okay.
Metaverse.
Meta.
Yeah. The
What is
virtual
it?
life.
Future.
Metaverse.
It's the future.
Metaverse.
Metaverse.
It's the future.
Talking about evolution. What kinds of evolution do we have?
Scientific.
Okay.
And marketing.
We have.
Science. Genetic
Genetic
evolution.
evolution.
Okay.
Genetic evolution.
Okay.
Even the species.
Genetic evolution.
And the kind of research done, maybe?
Genetic
Natural
evolution. What
In
else?
any sector, research.
Genetic evolution. Is it artificial or natural? Both.
Both.
It is both. So we have natural. Natural
And then artificial.
versus artificial.
Evolution.
Artificial revolution. Evolution. Can we talk about evolution in social studies?
Yes.
In what way?
The way society has
Business,
evolved.
how businesses have changed over time.
Okay.
Marketing.
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 The marketing.
Marketing philosophy and concepts have changed.
Marketing,
Philosophy and concepts.
philosophy. Has marketing philosophy changed over time?
Yes.
Yes.
That's great. Yes.
I just want to give an example for this.
Okay.
Right now, for example, advertising, the way they are advertising products have changed a lot from ancient times,
Advertising.
from 3, 4, 5 generations ago
Okay.
till date.
I give you 2 minutes. Discuss it together and then give me
Okay.
your answers.
The reason of evolution, that let's say, for example, physical factors, physical change. When we talk about environmental factors, a change in the environmental factors, let's say the climate, also the process how the certain species will adapt, the
Okay.
adaptation of certain peoples and
Okay.
certain species, in a certain environment, how this will affect the change in the genetic itself,
Okay.
how the variation will happen in the genetic field,
Mutation.
concerning the mutation, how this mutation will change in the food habits, industrial evolution, and whatever.
That's great. Thank you. What about you?
So we selected to talk about business and science together. So as we can notice, science and technology is evolving very fast.
Okay.
And this is sometimes affecting some businesses that are
Yeah.
almost disappearing.
Great.
So sometimes the positivity of one of the factors is affecting in a negative way on other factors. Like, for example, some businesses. For example, Ms. Ines mentioned about editors.
Editors, yeah.
We don't need much editors anymore like before. And Ms. Noha also mentioned about some of the genes.
Okay.
Like over time, some of the genes are not needed anymore. So naturally
give me
or
an example?
artificially, they are disappearing.
Okay. Can you give an example about the genes?
I can give an example for science. For example, when we look at the fossil record, the fossils of the living organisms that lived a long time ago, we might see that they have some features which are not present in their modern day relatives.
Okay.
They have some similarities, but there are some traits or genes that disappeared. For example, we know for a fact that whales, for example, at some point they were living on land, and then over time they shifted to live in sea.
Yeah.
So they had 4 legs to be able to dwell on
Yeah.
land, but over time those are not needed anymore. They changed into fins. This goes in with what Mr. Jack said. Over time, some changes can happen.
Great.
Evolution can happen in many aspects of life, whether it is science, whether it is social, or in the business sector.
Like exactly these.
I'm the predator, and I'm controlling the bird, and I'm supposed to feed on these moths. So I'm supposed to eat as many
as you can.
Yeah, I'm supposed to eat. We have 1 minute.
Can you eat both light and dark ones?
I'm just gonna eat whatever I can find.
Eat what you can.
Need help?
Yes. Not dark. You have to catch the dark. Wait, Hassan.
So, time over? Yeah. So, which forest environment did you choose? Which moths were picked up easily by the predator and eaten? Why?
When we choose the light forest, it is easy to eat the dark birds.
Why?
Because they change in color, so it's easy to look for dark birds than to look to the white birds. So the environment here, the color of environment affects the
Camouflaged. We try to eat as many moths as possible randomly,
regardless of
and we saw here in the data that the survival rate. It's gone because we had to do it again. The survival rate, it's gone here. The survival rate of the light-colored moths was higher in the light environment because they were able to blend in with their environment.
Good.
So we agree, I think, with both of the groups. We chose the light environment,
Okay.
and
What percentage?
we attempted to eat whatever we can see.
Okay. So
And
what data?
the results tell us that the percentage of the light-colored survived more than the dark-colored.
I want you. First, group 1, research the following terms: species, phenotype, genotype, selective pressure, natural selection, and evolution. Share your findings with the other group members to help them answer the related questions. The second one, how did the change in genetic traits of the population through mutation cause a change in their physical characteristics? So what I want you to do is the following. Where is that? You have the task 1 and you have the task 4. Yeah. Okay. I want the task 1 people go and search for your partners and stay there.
So what do we like?
So here we're supposed to find what's the relationship between natural selection and evolution. Okay, so what can we say the relationship is?
Either a survival benefit,
It is the physical makeup of an individual. For example,
Just how the animal looks, if it's tall or short, or is it having a brown hair or a black hair?
Great.
When you look at a person.
that's great. Okay. Genotype.
So for us,
Genotype is we already understood. What kind of generalization we can come up with? For this reason, I will distribute this one, only one. This one for you. And this one. So,
Based on either task?
yeah.
okay, so we're supposed to combine our
just list them, then we can.
We can make X points on nutrition,
and environmental factors.
You have to choose one of the two.
nutrition in the traits, environment
So here we answer. But now we can only come up with a generalization based on what we have done. Yeah, based on what we have done. So this was the answer to the question that was here in the stats. What is the relationship? Because we need to understand the concept to do the generalization, right?
Yeah.
So we understand using the simulation that this is what we came up with, natural selection of certain traits has determined how the population changed over time. So we need to use this and combine it with what you found to come up with.
Can we say as a generalization?
What can it do? What can natural selection do?
It will change like the behavior of the organism to adapt to the environment.
Yeah. So we want to know what natural selection does and how it's related to evolution,
natural
right?
selection choose the favorable traits for organisms to adapt, to reproduce
Let's use
more.
the word can because we want to know what it
No,
can.
something here.
Natural selection. Natural selection. What can it do? Can it impact?
The phenotype and
Selective aggression.
selective pressure.
And what did we call these external factors? These are the
External factors are selective pressure,
are the selective
natural
pressure.
selection.
So I think it's safe to say that natural
Because
selection.
so we have genetics and phenotype and
Right,
genotype.
right. So natural
Along with
natural
external
selection
factors,
was
yeah.
the process that created the change, evolution, right? So we can say natural selection can create selective pressures, because we have to use all the concepts that we have learned about.
Selective
Pressures to
to determine the
we have to link it to evolution, right? So natural selection can create selective pressures.
Determine the evolutionary genetics.
Okay, that cause.
And selective versus
Over a period of time.
this can be the reason which cause evolutionary change in the population of species.
It's the same خلاص. You want to put
Yeah, because there is too much of change, it's like
okay, so
something is mistake can lead to selective pressure, which cause evolutionary change in the population of species. It will
evolutionary, which cause evolutionary change.
change in the population of
species.
evolutionary change in population of species.
Yeah.
So this indicates the genetic allele
Yeah.
change. That's one
For a
word.
period of time.
Population of species. So one second.
So change in
Change in
the
the genes can lead to selective pressure,
which causes evolutionary change in
evolutionary.
Like again, what we said, like the
Available
short and
resources.
long nerves, like the short and the long neck of the giraffe, for example, it changed in order to adapt its environment. So the longest giraffe neck, they still alive, whereas the short ones, they didn't pass from one organism to another generation, so it
They
didn't.
become extinct.
Yeah, extinct.
As the simulation long.
Evolution
Sure.
and change are necessary for survival. Yeah. All right, our group is ready.
Can we say that genotypes can be essential factors that drive evolution?
Okay, finished?
This is our third generation.
Yeah, okay.
We just give it call them genetics, right? This is the genetics because we found out from the glossary. This is the genetics. This is the physical traits. Physical traits. All right, but they are caused by the genotype. The genotype determines the phenotype.
Yeah.
So we can say that changes. So here I think we can attribute it to the genes because the genes are responsible for the physical
phenotype, yeah.
appearance. So changes
in
the genetic makeup of a species can cause evolution
of
to take place. Because here evolution change in the
Okay, time over. Time over.
Please.
So, let's start. Take your realization. Group,
Yeah. Group 1.
group one, come. Come, please. Yes, you say it, tell me. Show it and tell me what you have done.
So our,
This, all of us, look at it.
our
Yeah.
generalization based on our simulation is change in the traits can lead to selective pressure, which cause evolution in population of the species
over a period of
over a period of time.
Okay. Change in the traits. Traits of what?
Traits of the species.
So,
Traits of species.
change in the traits of species. Yes,
Can
go on.
lead to selective pressures, which cause evolution in population of species over a period of time.
What do you think?
We agree because we wrote something very similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay. So if we want to check this and highlight the concepts here.
Traits,
Traits, selective pressure,
evolution,
population
population,
of species.
species.
What is the verb?
Can
Can
Lead.
lead.
Causes.
Cause.
Causes.
Causes. Okay, fine. Group 2.
That's what.
Group 2. Yes. Great. Thank you very much. Group 2.
Okay. All right. You can do the
Yes, Miss Inas.
We actually came up with 3.
Yeah,
That's
3.
what we had to
Okay.
do. The first one says natural selection can create selective pressures that cause evolution. The
Okay.
second one was natural selection can be a major mechanism that causes evolution.
Can what?
Can be
Can be a major mechanism.
that causes evolution of a species over time.
Okay.
And the
Number 3.
third one, changes in the genetic makeup of a species can cause evolution to take place.
That's great. But let's go to number 2.
Okay.
Nature selection can be a major mechanism that causes evolution of a species over time. Now, what is the verb?
Cause.
Can be.
Can be and cause, yeah.
What do we call such a generalization?
Is it a level 1?
It's a level 1. So it's a level 1. Why?
Because we're using.
We have
a
B.
verb.
So how can
Can you
we?
give us a chance?
How
to
can we
improve?
make it a level 2 generalization?
So can we say can create? Can we say
Natural selection.
natural selection? Natural selection is a mechanism that can create.
Natural selection. What?
Natural selection can.
I want you to sit down.
Mhm.
Correct it.
Okay.
Okay. This is the mark. Red mark.
Okay.
Okay.
Natural selection.
But let's listen to group 3, and we come back to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, here we know that natural selection can create change in traits of species to help organisms adapt and survive in their environment.
What do you
So
think?
here we chose the natural selection,
Yeah.
the traits of the species. So these three, they are the concepts. And here we have the verb, which is can create, which is that can provoke the change of these. So in all, we put this generalization.
What do you think?
Instead of organism adapt, it's better to write to help adaptation of organism. To take
But if we leave organism adapt and survive, what's wrong? Is there anything wrong?
not wrong.
No, but you can modify it to be. It's okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine. So what did you do here? How did you change
So
it?
we are
No, no,
going
this
to
is the other
rewrite
one.
it. We
The
want to
other one.
rewrite it at the back.
Natural.
Natural selection
Okay.
is a mechanism that creates selective pressures leading to
Evolution of species.
evolution of a species.
Over time.
Okay. Now, can you hold it up, please? Hold it up. Read it again, please. Listen. Let's see what has been done. Okay. Read it aloud.
Okay, I cannot read it. Can you?
Natural selection is a mechanism that creates selective pressures leading the evolution of a species over time.
Okay. What is the difference? Can be and is. Is it the same or not? Can be and is. Is what verb is it?
Can be, it shows probability.
What kind of generalization is it? Does it still a level 1? It's still a level 1. So how can we modify
We need a
it?
stronger verb.
Huh?
We need a stronger verb.
How? What do we do?
Like natural,
What do
can
we
I
do?
check it?
Yeah. Show it. Show it to them.
Can lead of a major mechanism or can provide a major mechanism that cause evolution of a species over time. In same generalization, but
Okay.
instead of B, you can run B
So,
or
Can you write it on the back of the paper,
Yeah.
please?
They have.
Okay.
But here we didn't use selective
So
pressures.
hold it up, please, and read it. Hold it up, please. Read it aloud, please.
Natural selection can lead to a huge mechanism that causes evolution of a species.
Understanding by looking at this example. In the picture, in the image, you can see birds with different shapes of beaks. How do you link it
According to the evolution of.
with the evolution? If we come back to your generalizations, which one applies to,
Selective pressure.
where is it? Can you show it to me?
It's the traits.
Okay, hold it up, please. So,
The change in the trait,
yeah.
that is the that is referring to the phenotypes of the peaks.
Yeah.
And the selective pressure is referring to the change in the environmental conditions.
Okay.
It can be the climate, it can be the habitat or the
Okay.
environment.
In this instance, it's the type of food in this example.
That's great.
I think also this one is connected.
What about this
Yes,
one?
this is also connected.
What about this one?
Natural and adapting to.
So we are not the only winners.
Okay. So you see how to transfer your knowledge into a different context?
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Now, we would like to approach the issue of evolution from a different perspective. So in a group of three, read the text from the article, The Evolution of the Marketing Concepts in Handout 2. Then identify both the central idea of the paragraph along with the supporting details. In your groups, these are provided text from the article, The Evolution of the Marketing Concepts. Then using the provided graphic organizer in Handout 3 that I have already given to you to complete the Venn diagram in order to compare and contrast the evolution found between from the selling philosophy to the marketing philosophy.
Profits by creating a lasting relationship. A relationship
With the customer.
with the consumers or customers.
So there is a relation.
So are you ready?
They create customer satisfaction. They build long relationships. Products are a result of lasting consumer. We're done.
Okay, great.
So how did this is the
Okay, let me see your Venn diagrams, please. And let's see.
The company, the selling philosophy, they have a perspective that's called inside out, which means that they focus on the company's existing products that they have and sells for heavy selling and promotion to obtain profitable sales. While the other one, it's the opposite. It's called outside in. It's totally the opposite, where they focus on the customer's needs and integrates all the marketing activities that affect the customers. Okay, so these are the main differences.
But what is the common?
The common, both of them focus on marketing in order to make profits.
Okay.
So both of them are thinking of the same perspective, which is making profit. And the second one is both of them are marketing concepts.
Great. Yes. Group 3.
So we begin with the selling.
Okay.
The selling philosophy, where it's produced first.
Okay.
Right? Whereas in the marketing philosophy, it's produced after you determine the customer's needs and wants.
Good.
Okay. Then we also said that in the selling philosophy, this technique requires aggressive selling approaches. So since we produce first, now we have to convince our customers to buy the products.
That's right.
Through these aggressive selling techniques.
Okay.
Rather here, the selling takes care of itself because you've already found out what the customer's needs and want. So the products are going to sell themselves.
Great.
Okay. The focus is on the seller, of course, in the selling technique, while in the marketing philosophy, the focus is on the consumer or the buyer. What they all have in common, obviously, these are businesses that want to make profit through achieving customer satisfaction. So at the end, they both want to create profits by keeping their customers happy.
Amazing. What you have done and what facts you have, what concepts you have, I want you here to come out with a process generalization related to language arts. Here I want you to generate or generalize a knowledge structure generalization. Okay? And here knowledge structure generalization.
Underline main ideas.
Let's agree on what you
Supporting.
Supporting details.
That this is the
Uh,
concepts on it.
Perspective. Point of view.
Do you want me to circle the
So,
verbs?
okay, can allow.
Can allow.
Do use another
Recognize.
لا to recognize. Okay, خلاص. That's it.
consumer. Or we can say
So
pervasive.
philosophy.
The marketing philosophy.
So we agreed on creates.
Yeah.
What strong verbs else we can use? Creates.
Okay.
Creates, because we are talking about a shift, a change that happened.
Nice.
Another generalization.
Concepts?
Concepts. Evolution. Can we come up with evolution and marketing? Yes, philosophy. It shows that there is a shift, but when we connect it to the bigger, the maximum. Can we say
Yeah. And are the verbs strong?
Can satisfy.
Can satisfy. Amazing.
I was going to say evolution instead of shift altogether. It's an evolution in the business. Let's say it's up to you. That's what I was saying.
It's again.
I meant to use it as a noun, not as an adjective. So you could have said creates an evolution in the business industry without shift
Are you ready?
altogether.
Creates an
Ready?
Yeah,
Then,
come up with another generalization.
are you ready?
And you can keep it going.
Okay. Ready? Group 3, are you ready?
Yes, ready.
Okay, this, see, hold it up and let's see what you have. Somebody.
Yeah. Okay. خلينا أعمل أنا بس.
It's fine. Identifying the main ideas and the supporting details in a text can allow the reader to recognize the writer's perspective or point of view. Actually, in this generalization, we underline the concepts and we circle the verbs.
So identifying, please, listen, all of us. Can you repeat it again, please?
Yeah,
Listen, please.
identifying the main ideas and the supporting details that we use in the text can allow the reader to recognize the writer's perspective or point of view.
Great. What do you think? Yeah.
Verbs are strong, so it's a,
Okay.
I think it's a level 2.
Okay.
Can allow.
So we can use the verb can? That's my
Yes,
question.
you
We
should.
can use
Can.
can?
Why do we use can? In a text, can allow. Can we cancel can here or not?
Sure.
Can't we just say allows?
Allow.
reader to
That,
do-
does it always allow that?
No, I'll tell you something. Like, for example, if someone is reading
Yeah.
and he doesn't understand what he's reading, so here we can support him with with a multimodal text. So we
Okay.
can go, for example, to a photo. So that's why we can keep this part or this possibility that someone might not understand by reading the supporting details and the main idea, he wouldn't be able to identify the writer's point of view.
Okay.
So here we extend it to a multimodal text. We use a photo, we use a map,
Animatic.
any other concept.
Yeah.
So that's why we use can.
Great.
Yes, we can use
Great.
can, that's my question. Because we were
Now,
told
in a
that
generalization.
Group,
It depends on the process.
group
Okay.
1, yes please.
Okay, so this is what we came up with. We wrote the marketing approach or the marketing philosophy creates an evolutionary shift in the business industry by prioritizing consumer needs rather than company needs.
Yeah, great. What do you think? Yeah. Wow, that's great. What level is this realization?
I'm gonna give it a 4.
It's level good, yeah. Yes, please.
The evolution of marketing philosophy can satisfy consumers' needs, leading to great consumer satisfaction and profits.
Okay. So again, I would like to ask the same question. As a group, why do you use can here?
Because will it necessarily always